Let me ask all of you authors a question. When you were all writing your stories, raise your hand if you got stuck in the middle of it. Yeah, that happens to me. That happens to me. All right, so there's getting stuck in the middle of the story. Let me ask you this. This happened. Were you ever like writing a sentence and you started the sentence and then you got stuck in the middle of the sentence? You didn't even know how to end the sentence. Did that happen to anybody? Yeah, that happens to me. That happens to me. Let me ask you this. This one is maybe even worse. Was there ever a little stretch? Maybe the whole time you're like, I'm not getting stuck. I'm writing lots of sentences. I'm writing my story, but I'm kind of embarrassed by this story and I never want to show it to anyone and I never want anyone to read it. Does that ever happen? Did that happen to anybody? That happens to me. That happens to me. It can feel really bad when this stuff happens because I remember especially when I was a kid, I would get stuck and I really wanted to be a writer and I would think like, oh man, I can't even finish this sentence. Like, how am I going to be a writer if I can't finish a sentence? But I will tell you that now I am a professional author and I still get stuck in the middle of sentences all the time. Getting stuck like that, it's called writer's block, right? You've probably heard that expression, writer's block. It's called that because it happens to writers. Every writer I know gets stuck. Every writer I know sometimes feels like embarrassed by the story that they're working on, or they're working on it and they suddenly don't like it and they want to tear it all up. These are very writerly feelings because when you're writing a story, if you're writing a good story, it should be really important to you. You should care about it a lot. And when you care about something, well, then you'll have strong feelings about it, sometimes weird feelings about it. And sometimes it'll feel really personal and you might not want to show anybody, but those are all good feelings. It's weird. Those bad feelings are actually good feelings. They're part of being a writer. And it's part of what makes this job really, really tough, is that you sort of have to wrestle with your own brain to do it. So I was very impressed that all of you were able to write, not just get to the end and write these stories, but to write such fantastic stories. And I felt really happy that I got to read them. Now, what inspired me to be an author? That's a great question. 3 things. I love reading books. I love telling stories. And I love sleeping in really late. And authors get to do all 3 of those things every single day. I get to read books, not just like for fun, although that's my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing in the world to do is just to sit and read. It always has been. But now it's actually the most important part of my job. Even though I'm a writer, I don't write every single day, but I read every day for hours. And that's actually the best thing you can do if you want to be a writer, is read a lot of books. Because the more books you read, the better you get at writing. And that stays true your whole life. From Mrs. Vasile, when did you begin writing? Well, as a job, I wrote my first book when I was 21. That was the first time anybody ever paid me money to write a book. But like I said, it was 2nd grade when I actually got really into making books, and I would write stories and draw pictures myself and tie them together with yarn or staple them together and give them to my friends or my mom. And I think that's when you become an author. When you write a story, not because it's your homework, not because somebody told you to, but just because you feel like writing a story. So 2nd grade is when I got really into writing books.